Music has the power of bringing people together. Once you realize that, then as an artist, you have a big responsibility because you're touching everybody with a sound. I was born in the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, and I come from a very musical family, two generations of musicians and composers. And there were pianos all over the place, accordions, guitars, percussion, you name it. When I was 4 years old, I picked up an accordion that my parents gave me, and luckily it was in tune. It had keyboards on the right and buttons on the left. So I was able to pick up a couple of melodies, and immediately they knew I had an ear. So I was able to play Holy Night and Happy Birthday. Those were the first two things I came up with. When I turned 14, I turned on the radio, and in between my practicing of Beethoven, Bach, Chopin, I listened to my cousin's radio show, and he was a big jazz fan. So he was playing jazz, and I fell in love with it. When I turned 16, my composition teacher at the conservatory named me as a member of the percussion section of the orchestra. And in the middle of a break, I went to the piano and started playing some blues. And some of the American musicians that were there came over and said, "Oh my God, you play jazz?" I said, "Yeah, I play jazz." They planted the seed in my mind. I said, "What are you doing here? You should be in New York." Finally, I made a move in 1979. I wanted to keep on studying composition, arranging, orchestration. I had read that the great Bill Evans, the great jazz pianist, had studied at Manes. And that's how I found out about Manes. So I wanted to emulate him because he's one of my idols. So, well, he went there, I want to go there.
Before he came to Manis, he entered an orchestration class of mine. He was very pleasant in class, and his homework was always very superior to everybody else's. So I knew that I had somebody special.
Professor Leo Edwards. He was like an open book, like a library. He knows so much about the repertoire and all the nuances of all the composers.
When he came to me, he was getting offers, commercial offers, which he felt that he, had to be equipped to do.
When I composed the theme for the Goodwill Games, Leo helped me a lot.
That was Ted Turner's thing. Of course, that was going to be on the Turner stations, that there had to be music and all that.
They wanted a special overture that would be about friendly competition. It needs to sound grandiose, majestic. At the same time, it needed to be very romantic. That overture was right on the money because it earned me an Emmy Award. So I guess I learned well. Thank you, Professor Edwards.
Of course, he got an A. I was at the first time that he played at the Blue Note. And I remember that very well because they did a set. The place went wild. Totally bananas. Somebody came up and said, "Do you hear that going on down there? They're not ready to go yet, and they're not ready for you to go yet."
The challenge of being a jazz musician, of course, is the improvisation. But at the end of the day, also, you become a living composer, a composer in the moment. Because improvisation is composition. It's just that it comes in the moment, in front of the audience. And then it's a skill that you have to develop. It takes many years and a lot of suffering as well. Sometimes it comes together, sometimes it doesn't. But you keep on trying until everything becomes your sound and everything becomes flowing. Everything flows. So that's what you aim at. You learn. It's a learning process. Hopefully it never ends.
After meeting Michel Camilo, he talked about how he wrote the piece, and this movement is based on him arriving to New York City after living in Dominican Republic, and he was trying to capture all the sound and the energy of the city. As a classically trained clarinetist, I have to say I don't really play Latin American jazz all that much, even though I listen to it and I think it's really cool.
It used to be separate worlds, classical, jazz. Not anymore.
And in this piece, he has all of these rhythms, which are very jazz-like. He talked a lot about feeling the beats and the groove of it, and just getting to do that is really, really cool.
I feel it, at least, the love from the symphonies when they ask me questions. How do you want this played? And what is this supposed to be? It's a different thing to read it in a book than ask the composer directly. And on top of that, you can play your own work, and it's a double satisfaction to hear your music back at you, played right, and also at the same time interact with that music.
He really brought the concerto to life. His energy is so great that the orchestra kind of bounce off it and we capture exactly what he's feeling almost. So having him there is amazing.
We all share experiences. We all share this universal language of music. And for me, it's like the universal language of the soul. It speaks to everybody. And it touches everybody's heart. And it's global.